Hello, my name is MG Govia. I'm the Education and Outreach Liaison for Okie A11. Today we're going to be talking about non-compliant locate requests. We'll discuss what they are, how they affect the A11 process, and how we can avoid using them going forward. Okie A11 was established in 1979, and the Oklahoma Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act, the law of damage prevention, went into effect in 1982. If you're not familiar with Okie A11, our mission is to provide quality underground damage prevention services. And our value statement is delivering excellence through honesty, integrity, and having a highly engaged workforce in a fun and supportive workplace. The Oklahoma Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act, it relies on two major parts. One, all operators of underground facilities shall participate in the statewide one call notification center. What this means is that facility operators will register with OK1 where their assets are located geographically and what personnel to contact when digging is going to take place around those assets. For that to work, all excavators must give no less than 48 hours notice, excluding the date of notification, weekends, and holidays, so that the operators have enough time to respond and get those marked before excavation begins. This service is free and easy to use by our excavators. So how does it work? It begins with the excavator contacting OK1. Then they go to our website or make a phone call. They're going to give at least 48 hours notice, excluding the date of notification, weekends, and holidays. OK1 is going to process that excavator's request by mapping out the dig site described by the excavator. A ticket number is going to be provided to the excavator as a copy of that interaction. We're then going to send notifications out to the members or facility operators in that respective area. Each member company is going to respond to that request prior to the work to begin date and time. They're going to mark the approximate location of the underground facilities using the APWA uniform color code by paint, flags, or states. They're also going to communicate with the excavator through mandatory positive response the status of that locate. The excavator's responsibility then is to confirm before digging. They must wait the required time before digging and ensure response is received by each member listed on the ticket, and they'll dig test holes to identify and properly protect the underground facility by determining its depth, direction, and distance within the work area. A couple things to keep in mind: private lines will not be marked through the A11 process, so if there are private lines on the property that work is taking place, an additional call may be needed to a third-party private line locating company. And OK1 is not the locating company. We're a notification center. We provide the communication out to the member companies so that they can respond and have those lines located. There are various ticket types that you can put in as an excavator. It begins with a normal or a compliant, meaning you're complying with the law, locate request. That's where you're giving sufficient notice, which is going to be at least 48 hours prior to the excavation, not including weekends and holidays. If a project is going to take longer than 14 calendar days from the work to begin date and time, the excavator will need to update that ticket. A remark or extend ticket will be created, determined by the needs of that excavator. An emergency locate request is when there's an unavoidable situation that endangers life, health, or property, and digging must take place prior to 48 hours. We do ask that you give as much notice as possible, although they did as an emergency. And because this is an exception to the 48 hours notice, the facility operators understand that this is an emergency and must respond to you as quickly as possible prior to when you say you're going to be digging. Just a reminder, this is not a green light to dig. If you have suspicion or reasons to believe that there's underground facilities in the area, please take the time to dig safely by discovering and validating those areas. You must show due diligence in protecting of the underground facilities in the area. A second or third notice is a follow-up notice if a utility operator has not located by the work to begin date and time. Demolition notice is letting us know a structure is coming down. You're going to be giving 7 business days notice after you've met local code requirements for demolition permit, and it's only for the intent of demolition. However, at the time of putting in a demolition ticket, you may also put in your normal or compliant locate request for the excavation that may coincide with that demolition. A damage report is reporting damage to OKA 1. It is required by state law, and what we ask for is discovery, or if there was a damage that occurred on the work site, to be notified to us so that we can reach out to the facility operators in the area to assist with that repair. When updating a locate request, it's because the locate request is good for 14 calendar days from the work to begin date that is on the request. An updated ticket will be required if work is going to extend beyond those 14 calendar days, or if underground facilities need to be remarked because of work activity or weather has destroyed their original markings. So a remark ticket is where we're notifying facility operators that the markings need to be refreshed, and then it extends the life of the ticket another 14 calendar days. The facility operators will have 48 hours, excluding the data notification, weekends, and legal holidays, to respond. An extend ticket is where we're notifying facility operators that the markings are still clearly visible and have been maintained and preserved and do not need to be refreshed while extending the life of the ticket another 14 days. Facility operators may or may not return to the site to validate those markings, but they still have 48 hours, excluding the data notification, weekends, and legal holidays, to do so. This extend ticket type constitutes an agreement between the excavator and all facility operators on the ticket. So what is a non-compliant locate request? Well, you may have noticed that we didn't discuss non-compliant tickets with the various ticket types that are available for you. That is because it is not a valid locate request because facility operators were not given enough notice. So because of that, an excavator will be responsible for any damage that may occur because there was no valid locate request. A non-compliant ticket will never become compliant. Even if you wait 3, 4, 7 business days since you called it in, there was never a compliant ticket. And because of that, a second notice cannot be requested on a non-compliant locate request. It is very important that we give sufficient notice when putting in a locate request. It's important that you'll give a sufficient notice to be marked, but not more than you can reasonably begin within the life of the ticket. 2-minute tickets at once can put a strain on the system and keep locators from getting to more time-sensitive sites. Active tickets should match the actual schedule of the work being performed and follow the requirements of the Oklahoma Underground Facilities Damage Prevention Act. There are possible consequences that may occur when a non-compliant locate request is put in or other unsafe excavation practices. One is possible death or injury, environmental contamination, fines or higher insurance, property damage or jail time, and of course increased strain on emergency resources. It is very important that we give the facility operators every opportunity to mark and protect their underground facilities to avoid these consequences. Damage prevention is a collaborative effort. It takes all of us. It begins with facility owners or locators as they provide public awareness and damage prevention efforts to protect those underground facilities. Their locators need to mark accurately where those facilities are so that we can dig safely around them and protect those facilities. Excavators need to understand the importance of using 811 so that they are having those lines marked and they can dig safely around them to complete their jobs and provide for their families and communities. OKA 811 is to provide the damage prevention services, the communication of locate requests, and the information necessary to provide safe excavation training, as well as understanding the member responsibilities and having those lines located. Thank you so much for your attention today. Today we discussed non-compliant locate requests, what they are, how they affect the 811 process, and hopefully how to avoid using them in the future. If you think of any questions regarding this or any other 811 topic, feel free to reach out to me. My name is MG, but the email address is the word education@oka811.org. Again, we thank you for your attention today, and we appreciate all that you do to keep Oklahoma safe. Thank you.